Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's eCosway webinar. My name is Brian Noren. I'm the VP of Training and Business Development here at eCosway. I'm just having a look at the list of attendees, and wow, we have people from all over the world. I do want to say that this is a webinar for the US market. There are some slight differences about the way that we do things in different markets, but let's just jump right in, and I think no matter where you are in the world, gosh, I'm seeing people from the US, from as far away as China, the UK, Australia, New Zealand. This is just wonderful. It's great to have you all. Some folks from our home country, Malaysia. This is just awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Let's just jump right in, and I'm going to give you an overview of eCosway and what we're all about. It is very, very interesting and very, very unique. Let me just tell you our overview of our two main goals with this company. The first one is to bring you, the consumer, great products at great prices. And when I say great products, I'm talking awesome. And towards the end here this evening, I'm going to show you some of our products and just what makes them so incredibly different. And the second thing is, if you choose to get involved on this level, we will give you the most sustainable passive income opportunity in the world. And I want to emphasize sustainable, because passive income's a wonderful thing. You do something once and it keeps coming again and again and again, but if the company goes out of business, then the opportunity goes away and you've got to recreate that. We don't want that to happen, so we focus everything towards sustainability. Okay, talking about that, actually, which kind of income do you prefer? Just to give you a little bit more about the difference between the two. An active income is an income where you're going to work every day and you have to work an hour or work a month or make another sale or whatever it is to get paid again. Passive income is the kind of income that you produce once, you make the effort once, and it keeps paying you again and again. For example, you may be an author, you write a book, every time that book sells somewhere in the world, you get paid a royalty. Same thing with a musician. If you're an insurance agent, when your policies renew, you get paid again and again. That's passive income, and that is how you break the time versus money equation. It can be very exciting, and we have made a provision with eCosway to offer you that if you're interested. So I'll show you that in a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit about eCosway, what kind of a company we are. The company was started in 1979. That was Causeway Corporation. That is the logo that you see on the left. And then in the year 2002, the company wanted to take advantage of the internet and also global markets. And so they launched eCosway. E, as you can imagine, means internet, and the company developed a global seamless profit plan to go around the world for anyone who wanted to take advantage of it. Now, the company is a member of what we call the Berjaya Group. That's a Bahasa Malaysia word meaning success, and the Berjaya Group has indeed seen success. It's a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, and I'll show you a little bit about some of the brands they're involved with in a minute. I just want to mention that the Causeway Corporation has been around for more than 30 years with a continuance of success. They have achieved year after year growing sales, just a tremendous success story. But for those who are entrepreneurial, what's exciting is that we're very, very new to the United States. We shipped our first product in September 2010. So this is a very ground floor opportunity. And for those who are entrepreneurially inclined, you know that the best time to get involved with anything is before everybody else knows about it. Let's have a quick look at our founder and managing director. His name is Mr. Al Chua. He's from Malaysia, and he actually had a background, although he was working in Malaysia, working for American companies, chiefly in the drugstore industry. So he had a good, strong background in merchandising, retailing, etc., etc. And this company is his brainchild, and we'll see why it's so successful in a little bit. Let's just talk briefly about the Berjaya Group. This is a very, very important part of our business model because of their deep pockets. You can see on the screen there some of the brands that they're involved with. Right there on the top row, you see the Starbucks logo. They actually have the master franchise rights for Starbucks for the entire Southeast Asia region. So that is huge. They got their fingers into things like Krispy Kreme donuts, Papa John's pizza. You can see on the third line there, Sheraton hotels, Intercontinental hotels. On the fourth line, 7-Eleven, a whole bunch of car manufacturing companies, water treatment facilities. They manage the Malaysian lottery. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is a big company, and it's important to our business model, as you're going to see later, that we're funded and owned by such deep pockets. Okay, let's move on here and let's talk about the Berjaya Group's founder. His name is Vincent Tan. He wasn't born with huge amounts of money. He created his success from scratch, and he is amazing. He's a multi-billionaire. He was actually ranked by Forbes magazine the 9th wealthiest man in Malaysia, and the only reason he dropped to number 9 was he gave away 50% of his wealth to charity. This is a man whose heart lives for charity. So that's exciting to me, because I know that whatever we do at eCosway ultimately goes to a great place. Okay, we have over 1,800 stores globally around the world, and the company, as I mentioned earlier on, started off in Asia, headquartered in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and they started spreading around Asia, saw tremendous success, and then after the launch of eCosway, when things were stable, they decided, okay, let's go in and try some of the Western markets. So they started with smaller markets, Australia and New Zealand, saw tremendous success there, and then they said, okay, let's go and tackle some big granddaddies. So they came right to the USA. Just to give you an idea of the size of this particular market, our estimates are showing that we're going to open up over 10,000 stores in the United States. Now, this is currently a company doing about $500 million a year annually with over 1,800 stores. We're going to have 10,000 stores in the US alone. The company's also opened up countries like the United Kingdom, and coming soon, many more countries that we're working on at the moment all over the world. So we're looking at a global level here. But as I said, in the United States alone, for those of you who are the majority on this webinar, United States, we're looking at well over 10,000 stores, and currently we have less than 100, so we've got a long way to go. That's pretty exciting. Here's our headquarters in Irvine, California, in Southern California, and I'm actually talking to you from the bottom level there, right by that kind of gray car in the middle. Here's our warehouses and what they look like. At the top is our Fullerton, California warehouse, about half an hour from our headquarters building. We have 112,000 square feet of space there. This thing is absolutely enormous. I had the privilege of being in it before they even put the racking in. It looks like a massive football field, and that picture doesn't do it justice because it extends way out past the right of the screen. And then down below you can see an empty warehouse. This is actually where we used to ship from. We have 31,000 square feet here in Irvine, and that warehouse is just right now an overflow and backup warehouse for when we start running out of space in Fullerton, because we're expanding so incredibly fast. Okay, let's have a look at our storefronts around the US for those of you who don't have stores in your area. Right now we're in almost 10 states, and we have a bunch of stores going up in different states all the time. Very exciting. These are actually a couple of our early stores in Aliso Viejo, about 20 minutes from our office here, and Torrance, California, that's up in the Los Angeles area. You can see what the stores look like outside, and then here's what the interiors look like. This is Poway, California, and Torrance again. You can see that the stores look pretty uniform, very boutique-y in style. Let's talk about our business model. This is why I came to work with a company. This is what I'm so excited about. We do put shoppers first, and that is a major key to our success. But our business model essentially follows the principles that were laid down by Professor Philip Kotler in his book, Marketing Management. That's actually the most used book in graduate business school in the United States, Marketing Management. And this is what he says. He says that to have a successful, sustainable business, you need 4 key factors. Products. Obviously, you need good products that are marketable across a wide range of industries. Don't limit your market. You need to have competitive pricing. You need to have regular promotions because people come back again and again when there are promotions, so you get sustained repeat business. And you need to have a good distribution system or place where you're doing your business. Obviously, if you're in a mountaintop in Nepal where UPS doesn't deliver, you're going to have problems doing business. So that's also very important. And when Mr. Al Chua set up the company, he looked at these 4 factors, but he put in one other one, which is very, very important, and that's a profit plan. See, instead of doing media advertising like most companies in the retail industry, we don't do any of that. What we've done is we've taken that portion of our budget, of our sales proceeds, and instead of spending it on media advertising, we pay it back to the shoppers who shop in our stores and refer others to our stores. This is an ingenious model because we are truly market driven by our shoppers and by the demand that they have for our products. We'll talk more about these 5 points as we go along here. So let's start with the first one. That's products. We have literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different products of the type of thing you would use every day. But don't be fooled. These are not ordinary products. We have health products, food products, skincare, personal care, household care and cleaning, auto care products, cookware, shapewear, water systems. We have a bunch of specialty items, organic foods, rewards products. I'm going to go over some of these at the end of this webinar just to show you how different these are. As I said, they're everyday type of products that people use every day, but they are not just ordinary products. They're something very, very special. Now, basically, here's our philosophy on our products. We go off around the world. We have literally hundreds of product people who all they do is search for great products, and we get them from researchers, manufacturers, suppliers, etc. from around the world. We don't go into our own labs, so we save a bunch of money that we can pass on to you by sourcing the best products we can find from around the world. We get products, a lot of products from right here in the United States. We get products from Australia, from Germany, from Switzerland, from France, from the UK. We get products from Japan, Korea, Malaysia, etc., etc. You get the picture. So we are out looking for the very, very, very best type of products of their type that we can find, and then what we do is we buy them in massive, massive quantities. We usually private label them, so that way we're not controlled by brand pricing, etc., and we pass them on to consumers, both our members and our walk-in shoppers who come into our stores at great, great prices. So that's our product and pricing model. Now I want to talk about the place, the distribution side of the business. We have 2 types of distribution. The first is offline or brick and mortar store distribution. Here, instead of going for the big warehouse type big box stores like most of the discounters, what we do is we offer very friendly boutique-y like stores in local neighborhoods. Why do we do that? It's actually quite simple. If you think about what's happened over the last few decades, big supermarkets and big chains have gone into areas, eaten up entire local economies with their big mega markets. People shop there for everything. Where does that money go? It doesn't stay in the community. It goes out to the investors of those big companies or the owners of those big companies. What we do instead is we put small neighborhood stores here where the money stays in the economy in that local community. We'll talk more about that later, but that is a key element of why I love this company. We're really revitalizing communities not only around the US but around the entire world. Now, there's another type of distribution we have, obviously, as I mentioned, eCosway earlier on, and that's online. This is a picture of our website, and there near the top right is an e-catalog. If you're watching this from a distance and you've never seen our catalog, log on afterwards, go to the e-catalog, and click on it. It looks just like the physical book. In fact, I have one right here on my desk. This is what the physical catalog looks like. There you go. It's about 150 pages, and online you can actually click right or left and turn the pages online and read everything in the catalog. So a really easy way for people to share information with folks across in other cities in bad weather, across different states, across even different countries. So that's our distribution. through stores and our website. Now, I want to talk about what really sets us apart from other companies in a very special area, and that's promotions. I mentioned earlier on that a successful company needs to continually keep promoting. Well, what we do is we regularly send out promotional brochures to every single member in our system, and we highlight two things. We have one catalog of new products coming out. We bring out new products every 6 weeks or so. We freshen the line, we go with the trends. You'll see a lot of products coming out towards the natural side of things because that's what the market demands now. And then we have another promotional catalog where we put about, 20-25% of our store on sale every 6 weeks. Now that's not to clear items that aren't selling. We just keep rotating through that. Why? Because we know that when people have favorite items and they see them on sale, it brings them back to the stores or to the website, and once they're there, they don't just buy one thing, they keep buying more and more. So basically, we stay in touch with your people for you in this regard. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about promotions because since 1979, Al Chua has really been focused hard on promotions, understanding the importance of customer loyalty, and he's produced all sorts of customer loyalty programs. And let me talk just a little bit about one of them. I love our rewards products program. Basically, for everyone who shops at eCosway as a member, either a VIP shopper or an independent business owner, you get 1 rewards point for every $10 you spend in the store. And these rewards points can be used for all sorts of items. There's a few of them on the screens. I'm going to pick just one of them there. It's the frying pan kind of near the center, a little bit to the right. It's a very unique frying pan. I've seen something similar on TV and online for between $120 and $140. Our frying pan retails for $75. But if you apply 3 rewards points towards the purchase of that frying pan, you get it not for $75 but for $39.50. So each of those rewards points is saving you nearly $12. Now, what's so unique about this frying pan? It's a few things, but one of the most unique is that it has a stone type coating on it. It is not a Teflon pan. Don't make that mistake. It has a stone coating on it. You can cook completely oil-free. It's completely non-stick. And here's the important thing. It's very safe for you. And it's up to 10 times as scratch resistant as a regular non-stick pan, and up to twice as scratch resistant as the real premium non-stick pans that you see on the cooking shows, the things that cost a couple of $100 a piece. So that's one unique thing. My wife, by the way, loves this thing. She cannot burn stuff and ruin the pan. She's made mistakes several times, and I also love using it. You just wash it out with water and wipe it with a cloth and you're done. Couple more unique things. You can't see the bottom of that pan on here, but if you turn it over, it has kind of this dimpled effect, and that's convection heating. Induction heating. It works incredibly to cook smoothly and very quickly, and the lid fits on tightly, and that acts almost like a pressure cooker. So that's an amazing thing. That's just one of our many rewards items. You may wonder why I'm so excited about a frying pan. You have got to try this thing. This is one of our best-selling rewards items. People say, "Oh, what's so exciting about a frying pan?" Once they try it, it's amazing. It cooks steak to perfection. Anyway, let's move on from the rewards items, and let's talk about how we've taken things to the next level with what we call our prosumer program. And what's a prosumer? Basically, a prosumer is a profitable consumer. It's someone who's a member with us. You not only get to enjoy our loyalty programs, but if you become an independent business owner, or even to a limited extent a VIP shopper, you get to profit from helping us develop a global consumer network. Remember, I said that we don't do any media advertising. Instead, we take that portion of our budget that most retailers use on media advertising, and we pay it back to the consumers in the form of a profit plan for just telling other people about us and sending shoppers to our stores. That's all there is to it. So let's talk a little bit more about that. To be an eCosway prosumer, it's actually very simple. All you need to do is just switch brands from what you're using every day anyway. My guess is that you're using toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, soap, cleanser, household cleaners, car wash stuff, etc., etc. And I'll get into some of these products, and you're going to see that they're not just your usual products, but they're very, very, very high value products, better quality at better prices or the same prices. So it's very, very simple. It's a no-brainer to switch brands. So that's the first part of being a prosumer. The second part is equally simple. Just introduce more prosumers to our stores or our website. It's that easy. And here's the key. When you introduce somebody once, you can profit forever on that. And here's what I mean by that. Everyone who becomes a member gets a member ID number. And basically, once you introduce someone to the store, we hook those two in our computer system and we track them. So every time they purchase from the store or from a website anywhere in the world, you get credit for that, and that becomes a part of the profit plan. And basically, you can introduce the products to people who introduce to people who introduce to people. That is all tied to your number on the computer system, and it gets plugged into our profit plan. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I do want to switch gears for a second and talk about kind of the bigger intrinsic picture of what we're doing here. You know, the majority of consumers are facing two major problems: an increase in inflation and cost of living. And what that means for most people is that these days people are really cash strapped. They come to the end of the month and they're struggling to make it through the month. So here's a statistic that's a sobering one, but this is a very important one, so I'd like to go through this. I know it's got a lot of numbers on the screen there, but let's work through it together. This comes, by the way, from the Federal Reserve Board of the United States. The average couple aged 65 in America today has a median net worth of about $250,000, so $250,000. A lot of people on this, especially younger people, may say, well, gee, that's a lot of money. It's not, and let me explain what I mean. According to the government statistics, the monthly cost of living for a 65-year-old couple in the U.S. right now is just over $4,000 a month, $4,300 a month. The average lifespan, according to the lifespan tables from the U.S. government, is approximately 78 years. So a couple aged 65 has another 156 months to live. If you do the math on their monthly cost of living and how long they're going to live, they actually would need $680,000 in real day terms. Now here's the major issue that compounds this. Healthcare costs start to rise very, very rapidly once you hit 65. So once you factor in inflation and increased healthcare, they'd need approximately another $300,000 on top of that. So if you do the math, a couple aged 65 actually needs to have almost $1 million in the bank to live comfortably the rest of their lives. But what actually happens? They've only got $250,000. So how are they going to get the shortfall? People I know say, don't worry about it, Social Security will cover you. Will it really? Go on the internet and Google Social Security Trust and have a look at the projections, what they're saying about the Social Security Trust. They are very, very worried. Why? It's simple. After World War II, when World War II ended in 1945, all the troops came home. They made up for lost time, making families, bringing up families, and we had a massive baby boom here in the United States. Between 1946 and 1964, we had 1/3 of our population generated in that time span of 18 years. And what's happened is those baby boomers are now getting towards retirement age. So you've got this huge 18-year ball of humanity, as it were, all starting to retire at the same time and depleting that Social Security fund that wasn't kept for them but given out for other reasons. So we've got some major issues, and we at eCosway can make a difference and do something about that. Here's what we're saying about American workers, or I should say what the government is saying. This is the Employee Benefit Research Institute. They do an annual survey, and this is what their most recent survey found out. They found out that workers are just not saving enough. 1 in 2 American workers have less than $10,000 in savings. 1 in 4 have less than $1,000 in savings right now. What happens if you get hit by a car on the way home? You end up in the hospital for a month. First, you probably only have 2 weeks of vacation, so now you're on unpaid leave. Secondly, you have a bunch of hospital bills. You've got a deduction on your medical insurance, and you're up the creek without a paddle. And you know what? I know I'm passionate here. I'm not saying this to scare you into anything. I'm saying it to wake us up as a society. We need to start planning for the future. Only 1 in 6 Americans have confidence in their ability to save enough for a comfortable retirement right now. And you know what? eCosway has the answer. The bottom line is most people do not have enough money, but they still need to consume on a daily basis. They need to brush their teeth. They need to wash their clothes. They need to shampoo and condition in the shower. They need to wash their bodies. They need to do the things that we cater to on basic needs with higher quality products at amazing prices. And most people are also looking for an extra income opportunity, and we offer that by simply helping others improve their lifestyles with our products. So pretty simple stuff. We have 2 types of members. We have first our VIP shoppers. These are typically people who want to consume, become prosumers at a better price, may share a little bit of product with their friends, family, etc., but they're not interested in the business aspects of what we do. Now, they can receive discount points for introducing other shoppers. They also get the rewards points on their own shopping, so they can get those great rewards items at huge discounts, and they get to bid in some very, very exciting VIP auctions where they can just win great stuff, things like iPads and flat screen TVs and free product and all sorts of great stuff. Now let's talk about our other type of members, and that's our independent business owners, or IBOs. As an IBO, you also receive rewards points on your own shopping, and you get profits from building that network of not just other VIP shoppers, but also other independent business owners. We'll explain this a little bit more in a second, because this could be incredibly large. Also, our independent business owners may qualify for a free store to operate if they're interested and they prove themselves. And when I say free, I mean it. And we invest in the United States typically between $150,000 to upwards of $250,000 in these stores. We like to say that we take the risk and you take the profit. I'll show you more about that in a minute. All right, let's talk about a little bit of profit here. The first type of profit, and our profit plan pays 5 different types of profit. I'm not going to get into all of that on this introductory webinar, but I do want to talk about direct profit, or as we call it for our VIP shoppers, discount points, because they can apply it towards free product. As an independent business owner, you get the actual cash profits. But that is up to 15% of the purchases made by the people that you introduce to an eCosway store or the website. So let me give you an example. Actually, before we do that, let's talk about network profits. This is only available to the independent business owners, not to VIP shoppers. But here's what we've done in dividing up these profits. I talked about us not doing media advertising. Instead, we give that money back to consumers. Well, with the network profits, we reward our consumers for building a network of consumers shopping at the stores. But we are well aware that most people who shop at our stores have a full-time job or business. They only have a couple of hours, a few hours a week to spend building this extra income. So we have devised a profit plan that basically works on a lot of people, each doing a little bit. So here's how it works. Let's say that you go out and you introduce 2 people to eCosway, and they start shopping with eCosway. And each of those introduces 2 people to eCosway who start shopping there. Each of those introduces 2. Now that would be 8. If each of them introduces 2, that's 16, and so forth. And you could end up, if you applied some very simple business principles of teaching people how to do what you're doing, you could end up with literally hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, or even down the road, given our growth and what we're doing as far as expansion, you could end up with millions of consumers who are shopping at eCosway because you started that, because you told a couple of people. So that's the concept we use in growing networks of consumers. It's a lot of people, each doing a little bit. And what we have is we have a profit plan that we call unlimited depth with seamless international branch growth. What that means is, let's say that you're in California, and let's say you got a cousin in New York, and you email them a link to the website and say, I'm using some of these products. I may be using, let's say, the laundry detergent, typically 3 to 5 times as concentrated as what else you buy in the store, and less price, and it's fully biodegradable. So you're saving money, you're saving the environment, and it works incredibly well. So let's say you tell your cousin in New York about that, and they want to become a prosumer with eCosway as well. They get involved, they tell some friends, some family, etc. Maybe they have children who've moved to, let's say, Dallas, Texas. So they tell people in Dallas, Texas, and maybe those ones have been school friends with some people who are in the United Kingdom. So they email them and they tell them about this in the UK, and those ones may have friends in Malaysia, who have friends in Australia, who have friends in Taiwan and Hong Kong and Thailand, etc. Who knows? It could be a global organization, and because you introduced those first few people, all that organization is plugged into your volume each month as we distribute those profits. So you are talking about an enormous income potential here down the road. I'll show that to you in a second, by the way. If you treat this like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. I want to just make that clear. This is a business. There's a lot of money that can be made from it. But if you want to treat it like a hobby, there's still some money that can be made from it. Take a look on the screen. Let's say that you told 10 friends about eCosway, some of the products that you were using. And by the end of this webinar, when you see the savings that you can have on better products, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So let's say that of these 10 friends, 8 of them became independent business owners, 2 of them became VIP shoppers. Let's say that each of those ones bought $100 of product to use. Well, we offer direct profits of up to 15%. Let's say all those products were at the 15% level, you'd earn $150 for your trouble in referring a few people and helping to enhance their quality of life and save them some money on high quality shopping. So everybody wins on this. Now that's the hobby side of the business. If you treat this like a business, it can pay you some enormous amounts of money. And I want to show you. In this example, let me just go through what's on the screen so that you're not confused. At the top right, let's say that the 8 independent business owners that you brought on each created a network of shoppers of their own. In our business, we call that a branch. Okay, so there's your 8 people there, and they each have a branch network of their own. Now we've got that table, and you can see the left-hand column says EV per branch. EV is a commissionable volume that we attach to each product. So let's say that each of those branches or networks of the people that you brought on board, let's say that each of those networks was doing 1,000 EV in them. So that's all the people buying products. It totaled up to 1,000 EV in commissionable volume. If your 8 networks are doing 1,000 EV first, our profit plan pays $1,382. And let's say that down the road, each of those networks had people sharing information with others. And those people were sharing information with others, and those were sharing information with others. Everybody was seeing how they could get better quality products at great prices, and they could each make some extra money. So let's say that down the road, each of those branches grew to 10,000 in volume. If you had 8 branches with 10,000 in volume, the profit plan would pay just under $18,000 a month on that. So as long as people keep consuming, you've built a passive income. Now I do want to say at this point that these numbers on here are simply illustrations of what our profit plan pays given certain amounts of volume created. We have no guarantees that anyone's going to make anything. That's up to you. But we have people doing so unbelievably well. I'm not allowed to mention any specific numbers, but we're talking the kind of numbers that CEOs of major corporations would love to be making right now, and especially with the kind of lifestyle that our top independent business owners live. All right, let's move on and talk about something that this is the only company in the world that I'm aware of that does this, which is to give away free stores. Basically, any independent business owner who's been successful running a virtual eCosway business can apply to be awarded a free store to run. Obviously, we need to see success and effort and all the rest. We don't just give them away. I think I mentioned earlier on, we typically in the United States invest between $150,000 and $250,000 in each store that we open. So we want to do that by investing in people who are really serious about this thing, about making it happen. Let's have a look a little bit more about the free stores here. They're much, much better than a franchise. If you were thinking of buying a franchise, you need to look at this first, and here's why. We basically pay for the store. We sign the lease, we pay the deposits, we renovate the store, we put in the fixtures, we put in a couple of cash registers, security cameras, closed circuit TV, we put in light boxes, those are backlit posters. We provide all the inventory for you, and we train you to run the store. We have eCosway Store Operator University regularly here at our Irvine headquarters. It lasts for just over a week, and the store operators get thoroughly trained. Then they also get one-on-one training after that, and if there are stores in their area, they can actually go and work in a store hands-on as well before their store opens. So this is much better than a franchise because there's no franchise fee for this. We bear the upfront cost at the corporate level. All our inventory that we put in the stores is on consignment. So the person operating the store does not need to buy that inventory. It's all there on consignment. If you buy a franchise, guess what you buy with it? If you can't sell your inventory, too bad, you lose the money. With us, if you've got a product that's slow moving, call our store support department, tell them you want to return some of it, send it back, and we'll send it to another store to have it sold, and you don't bear the cost of that. Also, we pay the monthly bills. If you have a franchise, your biggest nut to crack every month is typically your rental. People have to know how many hamburgers they need to sell to cover that rental, how many bottles of XYZ potion they need to sell, how many people they need to get as new customers on a service to pay the rent. Guess what? With eCosway pays your rent every month. We also utilities every month. So we basically blow out of the water the major overheads that a small business retailer has to worry about. Here's something else where there's a big advantage. We take the risk. This is a picture of an actual, well, it's not a store anymore. It used to be a store in Padang, Indonesia. They had a massive earthquake there in 2009. I believe it was 7.6, and it demolished this building with an eCosway store. The owners called up, or the operators, excuse me, called up Al Chua, very, very upset, and said, our store's gone, what do we do? And Al said, don't worry, take a 6-week vacation, we'll find you another location, build another store, and you'll have it. That's it. If you owned that store as a franchisee, do you know what would happen? You'd have all your deductibles, hopefully you'd have adequate insurance, you would be paying tremendous costs. What about everything else that's going on when that store is being rebuilt? These store operators had a whole network of shoppers who were still buying eCosway products, so they were still making an income. Pretty exciting stuff, huh? And that brings me to the next point, is that as an eCosway store operator, you have multiple streams of income. First, you get paid between 8 to 16% of the sales made in your store, whether it's people from your network shopping, people from halfway across the world who are coming to shop there. It doesn't matter. You get paid on every product sold from the store. And then at the bottom of the screen, you also profit from your network sales. So maybe some people who are in your shopper network may not even be in your city or state. They may not even be in your country. So you're building a residual income, a passive income from all these shoppers all over the world. So if you ever get tired of operating your store, you literally call the company, write a letter, give it back with 30 days notice, and we'll assign that store to someone else so that they can operate it. And you can go and retire on a beach somewhere and collect your network profits that keep coming in month after month as people keep shopping at eCosway stores. So really, really, really powerful concept, isn't it? Now, what do you have to do to be successful in eCosway? It's really about just 3 things, and you need to keep it simple and teach others to do the same. It's about introducing 3 kinds of prosumers to eCosway. The first kind is shoppers, people who would like to get better quality products for the same or less price. So the discerning shopper. The next kind of people you want to introduce are people who would love to have their own retail store, their own business where they can go every day, and introduce them and show them how to become store operators. And the third kind of people that you want to introduce is people who want to become prosumers, have their own home-based business without all the overheads and headaches of a typical business. Maybe they only want to work at a couple of hours a week, and they can build a plan B so that when they're 65, they've got that money in the bank, they've got the residual income, they don't have to worry about social security, inflation, medical expenses, all that, because they've got a nest egg for themselves and a residual income flow coming in. So as you can see, this is really a win-win situation, isn't it? Now, this thing is truly the prosumer revolution. This is a very, very unique business model. I have never seen another one like it. I believe that it's the next big thing. You've got an opportunity to get involved at the very ground floor stages right here. And here's the key with it. If you work hard, and I tell people this isn't a 1 month or 2 month plan, give it the solid 3 to 5 years of good solid effort, and you can create both time freedom and financial freedom at the same time. You know, I didn't mention much about my past life. In fact, I didn't mention anything. I'm actually a CPA by profession. I gave that up way in the late 80s because I didn't like the time versus money equation where we used to bill by the hour. That chained me to my job. But as a CPA, I got to rub shoulders with a lot of very wealthy people who had a lot of financial freedom. They could afford beautiful sports cars, second homes in Europe, that kind of thing. But they didn't have time freedom because they were worried about their business 24/7. They worked. Then I used to do some work with the homeless when I lived in San Diego, and I found out that these people had a lot of time freedom, but they had no financial freedom to enjoy it with. Here you have the opportunity to create both. In the beginning, you're going to be overworked and underpaid if you give this all you got. But once you hit that point of no return where your prosumers are introducing other prosumers and they're introducing other prosumers, then you can become one of the most overpaid and underworked people in the world as people continue shopping at eCosway. So that's kind of the big goal for those people who really want to take it seriously. Now, to get started with this, I love to tell people that you have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. Let me explain what I mean by that. First, to become a VIP shopper, you have two options. You can either pay a $20 VIP shopper fee, and when you do that, you get 30% off all retail products in the stores or on the website for up to 30 days, and that's up to a $200 maximum retail value. So if you work it out, your savings on those products would be $60, so you've more than paid back your $20 fee. Or a second option for VIP shoppers is go in and buy $40 on your first invoice of retail product, and you get the membership for free. So it truly is a win-win situation. Either way, you get 20 rewards points, you get a starter kit and a catalog, and you get special offers for 1 year, which translates into amazing savings. As I mentioned earlier, we mail out our promotions every 6 weeks here in the United States, and you get the opportunity to earn discount points if you'd like to introduce other VIP shoppers to the stores and they purchase products. So that's the VIP membership. Now let me mention the independent business owner membership. This is a $60 registration fee, and here's what you get for it. You get 60 rewards points, so a lot more savings opportunities there. You get your starter kit with catalog, you get the year of special offers, you also get a year of access to our business ownership support system so that you can track the growth of your group, your organization, etc. And of course you get that global opportunity with unlimited profit potential of helping us develop this network of shoppers for our stores and our website. So that's getting started. Now let me talk a little bit more about how you start as an independent business owner, because this is important. We have an initial qualification period where you can basically lock in different parts of our profit plan and maximize them just through working hard for your first 30 days. And here's the goals you want. We have something called special sets, which are sets of product that offer a better value than just buying them loose as retail product. And basically, you want to set yourself a goal of certain EV or commissionable volume of special sets in your first 30 days. A good goal to have as a new independent business owner is 100 EV in the first 30 days. We'll see how absolutely simple that is to achieve in a minute. A better goal, and I would really, if you're going to be an independent business owner, really shoot for this one because it'll lock in some fantastic things in the profit plan, is to do 500 EV in the first 30 days. And by the way, that's special sets purchased either by yourself or by your VIP shoppers that you introduce to eCosway. And then the best goal that you could have for your first 30 days is 1,000 EV in special sets between you and your VIP shoppers. I'm not going to get into the details of that right now, but I do want to explain a little bit about the special sets. So stay with me here because we'll just do a very brief discussion of some of the products so you can see how extraordinary they really are. First, if you want to know how to get the special sets, really simple. once you're an independent business owner, you do want to sign into the site before you shop because it pops up a couple of extra links, but anyone can go and check it out. Just go onto the homepage, eCosway.com/US, click on the shop tab, and then you can shop by special sets right there as it shows you on the screen. And you can wander through and read about those special sets. We have literally dozens of choices. I want to talk for a second about the 100 EV special discount sets, because as a new member in your first 30 days you can buy one of these, and it's a limit of one per membership. We have 9 of them to choose from at the moment, and we do add new special sets regularly, so that may change. But basically, as you can see, that particular special set on the screen has a retail value of $203. You get it for $140. So these special discount sets typically have a discount of a little more than $60. So basically, if you're paying a $60 independent business owner registration fee, you get it back just on the savings on your one special set for your own personal use. Now, this particular special set has 3 products in it. I want to tell you briefly about them. I'm going to start from the one on the right with the red label. That's called Resveramex. You may have heard of a substance called resveratrol. They found that when they were wondering why the French drank so much wine and ate so much cheese, yet had exceptional heart health, and they traced it down and believed that it came from a substance called resveratrol, which can be found in red wine. Now, our Resveramex product goes a lot further than that. We actually have 6 types and configurations of resveratrol in that product. They come from basically grapes themselves, from the young shoots of grapevines, from the bark, and from a plant called the Japanese knotweed or Polygonum. And we've got, as I said, 6 different configurations of resveratrol. In nature, the more different types of a particular nutrient you have, the better it usually works in your body. So that particular product, by the way, each 3-tablet serving, there's 30 servings per bottle, so 90 tablets per bottle. Basically, you take 3 tablets in the morning. It gives you the resveratrol benefits of more than 100 glasses of red wine. So which would you like to do before work? 3 tablets or 100 glasses of red wine? Very, very powerful product and very, very cost effective compared with other resveratrol products on the market. In the middle there with the green label is our Japanese koso balls, which are a very, very interesting product. They are basically a mixture of fermented fruits and vegetables, etc. They taste delicious, by the way. I started taking this product, but to confess, I stopped taking it because I was eating like half a bottle of the things in a day. And I just love it. They taste absolutely delicious. They're like candy. But basically, they are filled with probiotics. And you may know that probiotics are very, very important for gut health. Your gut, your intestines, especially your large intestine, is filled with bacteria, both good bacteria and bad bacteria. And if you don't take care of the good bacteria and nourish it, then the bad bacteria can get out of control, and you can end up with things like yeast, sluggishness, all sorts of issues in your body. So that particular product is amazing at helping to give you a probiotic, in other words, something that nourishes the good gut microflora in your stomach to keep the bad ones under control. Okay, now on the very left of the screen is a very interesting product. It's a scalar energy pendant, and I have one around my neck. Now, I'll tell you what, as I mentioned, I'm an accountant. I'm the logical type. When I first saw people wearing this, I thought it was just a decoration. When they said there was some value to it health-wise, I didn't believe it. But I have now become a believer. So let me try and explain very, very briefly about the scalar energy pendant. Basically, the whole atmosphere is tied together by energy. If you think of it, whether it's water, whether it's metal, whether it's sand or rocks or plant matter or air, that is all composed of electrons spinning around protons. That's what makes up our atoms and our molecules. Well, something's holding that all together, and that's energy. There's something called scalar energy fields. And basically, your body has a scalar energy field that gives it strength and balance, etc. Unfortunately, because of electromagnetic frequencies, from man-made stuff, or EMFs as we call them. For instance, fluorescent lights, cell phones, computer screens, just like you're watching this webinar on, no doubt, TVs, any electronic stuff, they emit these frequencies that aren't natural and they're not good for the body. They weaken your scalar energy field. The scalar energy pendant is basically, it's made from volcanic rock. It's infused in a quantum energy chamber. I don't understand how it works, but it is absolutely amazing. What you can do is you can stand with your arms out like this to your sides. You can bend one knee and balance on one leg, and then have someone push down on the arm on the side where you've lifted your leg. Obviously you're going to overbalance, right? Well, then you put the scalar energy pendant on, do the same thing, and you will be absolutely blown away by the improvement in your balance. Just think what this could do for the elderly population. Now, here's the one that got me sold on wearing a scalar energy pendant. You can take a cell phone and basically, first, without your cell phone, you put out an arm like this, straight out to your side. You have someone push down and try and resist, and you'll see that your arm's typically very strong. Now take a cell phone, hold it on your heart, and do exactly the same thing, and have the person push down on your arm. You'll see that you're not going to be able to resist them. That cell phone has weakened your scalar energy field to the point that they can just push your arm down. I've done this with people who are like 220, 230 pounds, big bodybuilders, and they are just totally freaked out by this. Then what you do is you put the scalar energy pendant on, now put the cell phone on your heart, have them push down, your strength has been restored. It's absolutely amazing. I don't understand all the physics, how it works, but we have a pendant in every 100 EV special discount set, and people wearing the pendants are amazed at a whole bunch of benefits that they get health-wise. So that's a little bit about the special EV, the 100 EV special discount sets. Let's just talk a little bit about some of the other products. And I know I'm spending some time on this, but I want you to get the idea these are not just ordinary products. We're talking about getting far better value for your money. First up there at the top is our EcoMax Fuel Enhancer. This is an amazing product. It's made in Silicon Valley in Northern California. It's got all sorts of recognition and awards. As far back as 1994, it was recognized by the United Nations as helping to clean up pollution. In 2005, the Chinese Environmental Protection Agency recognized it as a major source for cleaning up pollution, and very, very effective at helping gasoline consumption. And basically the way it works is it's a nanotechnology. You just measure it out in a little measuring cylinder that's right there. You squeeze the container, measure out the number of milliliters you need. You just need 1 milliliter for every 2 gallons of fuel. That's a 20 milliliter bottle, 120 milliliter bottle, so it treats 240 gallons of fuel. And each bottle, by the way, is less than $20. You can get 5 of them on a special set for just $90. And what happens is you just measure out the appropriate amount, 1 milliliter per 2 gallons of gas, pour it into your gas tank, and then fill up with fuel. That's it. It creates tiny, tiny microclusters within your fuel. And when your fuel ignites, they blow up, and they basically break your fuel into smaller droplets. The reason you get such emissions from your engine is the fuel isn't broken. It's too big to burn completely, so there are residual deposits and emissions. By breaking up the fuel into smaller droplets, it burns more completely, so you have better fuel consumption, better power, your engine stays nice and clean, and you have less, saving your engine, and you're saving the environment. I have a 2004 BMW 325i. Before I came to work here, I was getting about 23 miles per gallon. Now I'm getting about 25. My daughter has a Honda CR-V with about 170,000 miles on it. She drives a long way to school and back. She was going to school and back on a full tank for about 4 days, and then she'd be out of gas and have to fill up again. Now she's going about 6-7 days on that tank of gas. So absolutely amazing. Of course, she doesn't drive as much on weekends, but she has seen amazing fuel consumption improvements with this particular product. All right, now let's go to the bottom of the screen. I already talked about the pendant. There we have 2 products that are very interesting. In the middle bottom is our Yayama Chlorella. Chlorella is a freshwater algae, and it has some amazing properties in supporting the body's natural detoxification of heavy metals. It also has a lot of chlorophyll for other parts of detoxification, and it has something called chlorella growth factor. It has a lot of DNA and RNA in it that helps your body's basic rejuvenation mechanism, should I say. Now, our chlorella is very special. If you take chlorella and it hasn't got a broken cell wall, the cell wall is so thick that it's very difficult to digest. This one, the manufacturer has actually found a way to break the cell wall of that chlorella to release the nutrients. It's also grown, unlike most chlorellas, on a remote island off the coast of Japan. Very, very pristine conditions, but the bright sunlight causes a much greater chlorophyll content and all the other factors that you need from chlorella. On the right of the screen is something called spirulina, which I'm sure you've heard of. We have, I believe, the world's only USP or US Pharmacopoeia grade spirulina. It's certified organic. It's certified by a whole bunch of different agencies, and if you didn't know it, spirulina is actually known as nature's most perfect food. Just to give you an idea of how powerful this is in its nutritional content, meat is about 22% complete protein. Spirulina is over 60%. Live on just spirulina and water in the desert. It's that good a food. So we have that as well. And as I said, this is very price competitive and the world's only USP grade spirulina that I'm aware of. All right, let's talk a little bit more, and I want to go fast here because we're almost out of time. Here we have a product on the top of the screen called cholesterol. Cholesterol is very interesting. It's a mixture of bioflavonoids and plant sterols, and actually the amounts that have been mixed that the FDA has recognized may help with maintenance of healthy cholesterol levels and help with the reduction of heart disease risk. Recently, and Frost & Sullivan is a company that basically reviews and examines and analyzes the nutritional industry, so that's a real feather in our cap. At the bottom of the screen, I know these pictures are really small, but I want to just talk about some of these products. At the bottom left is a line called the BioGlow Pure Aloe line. And by the way, these are all special sets that I'm showing you. So here, these are two more where you pay $90 a piece, and they give you 50 EV towards your qualifications in your initial period. There at the bottom of the screen, as I mentioned, we have the BioGlow Pure Aloe line. This is very unique. It's a very, very inexpensive line, but basically it is guaranteed minimum 40% pure. It uses a process called active aloe, and it's actually twice as bioavailable and twice as bioactive as ordinary pure aloe that you pick straight from an aloe plant. So how about that? Now that's not even the product's claim to fame. This entire line contains something called bioecolia. I mentioned earlier on about the importance of probiotics for your gut. Well, guess what? Your skin also has good bacteria and bad bacteria. And if your good bacteria are compromised, the bad bacteria on your skin overtakes and you end up with all sorts of issues. So this particular line has this bioecolia in. It is the only probiotic that I've ever seen that is for middle of the screen is our EcoMax household line. I mentioned it briefly. It bears another mention because these products are so incredibly inexpensive. They're completely biodegradable. Every year we flush millions and millions and millions of gallons of harsh chemicals into our water system and also in the household. The average household contains more than twice as many harmful chemicals in the atmosphere as outside the household. And why? Because of a lot of our cleaning products. So this is a completely biodegradable line, certified biodegradable and environmentally safe. It works incredibly well. I mean, incredibly well. You got to try it and see the difference on something like the dish drops, the laundry detergent, the pre-wash, the bathroom cleaner. Just try it, see how it works. You'll be blown away. But it's very concentrated. Each product in this line is between 3 and 5 times as concentrated as what you'll typically buy in the supermarket or store. And just to give you an idea on the pricing, I'll pick on our liquid laundry detergent. For a bottle that does up to 80 loads of laundry, it's $5.90 at retail. I've compared that with up to 80 loads of laundry, what I've found in the store, you're typically looking at $18 to above $20. This is $5.90. See what I was talking about being a prosumer, showing other people how they can get a better quality product. Here you're saving money, you're saving your clothes, you're saving your health, and you're saving the environment, and it's just a fraction of the cost of what you're probably paying right now. On the right of the screen, we have a non-soap soap that is one of our very best sellers. So I wanted to put it in here and just mention it briefly. It's called the Phyto Bar. And the Phyto Bar is absolutely amazing. It's in a base of coconut oil, jojoba oil. It has fucoidan from seaweed in it, which is very healing for the skin. It has 18 different healing herbs in it. And it is an absolutely phenomenal product. People are amazed at the results with their skin. It also doesn't just melt in the shower. It stays hard for ages. And the fragrance is phenomenal. So that's one of our best sellers. Also at the bottom of the screen there on the right is our Xylem toothbrush. And who could get excited about a toothbrush? You got to try this thing to understand. Two different lengths of bristles. The shorter bristles are typical like any toothbrush. The longer bristles actually get not just between the teeth, but between the teeth and the gum line, where there's a small space where gum disease often happens. And this gives you a fresh, just flossed feeling. We have herbal toothpaste, which works phenomenally well. We have an incredible mouthwash as well, and even a tooth brightening gel that doesn't have any bleach. It works with something called polyphosphate, which is natural to the body. These are exceptional products. Just to give you an idea, about 6 weeks after using the toothpaste and toothbrush, I went to see my dentist. And when the hygienist opened my mouth, she said, "Wow, Brian, you know, after all these years, you finally started flossing flossing habits." I hate to admit it, once or twice a week if you get me on a good week. And she said, "No, you have to be flossing every day for your gums to be this healthy." So that's my experience with this particular stuff. So as you can see, these products are not just ordinary products like you buy in a store. Every single one of them has been handpicked, vetted for literally months by whole teams of people. Because we don't do media advertising, we know we have to rely on our product quality and word of mouth for our products offerings to be successful. All right, let's move along here. I could talk for all night about these things. I'm so excited about them. At the top of the screen, the eye facelifter. I love this product. So I figured I may as well start using it as well. The eye facelifter, I stands for intelligent, by the way. It has a bunch of natural ingredients that literally soak into the skin within a couple of seconds. And what you do is, it's a clear serum. You dab some on your chin, dab some here under the eye area, some here, and you smear it upwards, and you just let it dry. You won't even notice it. It soaks right in, and it just visibly, it tones and tightens your skin, firms you up, feels awesome. And with continued use, you'll be amazed at how it can improve what you look like. Now, down on the bottom there is our Beauty Code Switzerland, part of the line. This is called our Caviar Deluxe line. And I want to mention this because this is another example of how not doing media advertising can pass on amazing values to you. Basically, this Caviar Deluxe line contains Sevruga caviar, which is found in very, very high-end skincare products. And I challenge you, after this webinar, or maybe tomorrow, go off to a high-end department store and say, do you have any products with caviar in them in the skincare section? Have a look at the prices. You're going to see sets of product with caviar in for literally hundreds of dollars. I've seen them as high as $700 a set. Well, look at ours. It retails for $111 for these 3 products. As a special set, you pay just $90. And that is absolutely phenomenal. How can we afford to be such We don't pay for the expensive world-class models in the glossy magazines. We don't pay for billboards. We don't pay for inserts in the Sunday newspapers. We don't pay for very, very, very expensive TV ads, especially if you're talking about Super Bowl time. Instead, we take all that money and we pass it on in the form of savings to you and also as our profit plan. Make sense? Amazing stuff, isn't it? All right. Couple more products just to hit on these real quick. At the top is our Beauty Code Switzerland HA or hyaluronic acid line. your body makes hyaluronic acid, and as you get older it makes less and less and less of it. And basically, if you think of a baby's skin versus an elderly person's skin, a baby's skin, think of round, plump, juicy grapes. An elderly person's skin, think of raisins. What's the difference? It's water, it's moisture. HA, or hyaluronic acid, absorbs up to 1,000 times its weight in moisture, and this particular line not only has plant-based hyaluronic acid instead of the usual animal-based, but the hyaluronic acid molecules are different sizes, so they not only soak into the skin to draw moisture into the skin, but they also sit on top of the skin and form a protective layer. That's why so many teenagers with problem skin or very oily skin going through puberty, etc., use this line and get great results with it. Also, by the way, the Pure Aloe line is great for teenagers or people with problem skin. Okay, at the bottom here we have our Total Pureness line, specifically have great success with that line. I want to just mention very quickly some nutritional products. Here we have a 100 EV set of our whole food nutrition for general health at the top with a pendant. That's over 50 different fruits, vegetables, grains, seaweeds, and mushrooms, which mushrooms are known for their immune enhancing qualities. That's all powdered. It's not boiled, it's not cooked, the enzymes aren't denatured, it's powdered down, very concentrated. It comes in little packets, and you basically tear off a packet, put it in water. We have some special little shaker cups as a reward item. You can get that for under $2. You clip on the lid, shake it up, and drink it. It's that simple. You don't have to blend it or anything. Of course, you can put fruit in it, you can make smoothies, you can put extra protein in it. It's up to you. But those are essential. Most people have about 2 or 3 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. They're telling us, the scientists are telling us, we need a minimum of 9 to 12 and as many different types as possible. This has over 50 different plant sources in it, and it tastes delicious, by the way. The one at the top with the green for general health tastes kind of like a mixture between banana and a nutty toasted sesame type flavor. The one at the bottom for weight management has 45 different fruits, vegetables, and plants, and that has a little bit more protein, 11 grams per serving instead of 6, and that one tastes more like a nutty flavor. It doesn't have the banana flavor to it. So that's a difference. Actually already mentioned most of what's on the top line except for some of the shampoos. We have tremendous salon quality shampoos at much better values than you're going to find in salons, and that's something, again, that's recession proof. And there on the bottom is our probably one of our most famous items. It's our alkaline hydrogen water filtration system. I could do a 1-hour training on this. I'm not, but I just want to tell you a little bit about it because it's so important. Similar systems sell on the market for between $1,600 and $4,000. This one is a special set, is only $380. It retails for $580. Why would people pay that for a water filter? It's not just an tap water and put it through this thing versus doing bottled water, and you'll also save a lot of landfills. But basically, a couple of key things that this does, amongst many others, is first, it actually infuses hydrogen, free hydrogen, into water, and that's a very powerful antioxidant. And we've tested the antioxidant values on this. It's absolutely amazing compared bottled water, tap water, typically actually is filled with free radicals, which means that it's damaging to the body. This actually is just the opposite because of the hydrogen. Let me key in on the alkalinity for a second, because this is important. We eat in this country, and in fact most of the modern world, mainly in an acidic diet or acid producing. Just to give you an idea of some acid producing foods: meats, starches, so potatoes, pasta, breads, anything with sugar, cakes, sweets, that kind of thing. Gosh, soda is one of the worst acid producing things, and we pump our kids full of it every day. If you drink alcohol, that's acid producing in the body. If you smoke cigarettes, that's acidic producing. So pretty miserable story, huh? So let's learn about the alkaline producing foods and what those are. Those are typically the vegetables and a number of the fruits. So what issue have we got right here? We eat too few fruits and vegetables. We talked about that earlier. We eat way too much, filling our body full of acid producing foods. Acid producing is an issue because your blood needs to be at an alkaline level. Your blood needs to be between a pH of typically 7.35 and 7.45. That's slightly alkaline. When you eat acid producing foods, your blood starts to tend towards being more acidic. Now your body won't let it get more acidic because you would get very sick and eventually die if you got acidic. So what happens is your body has buffering systems which buffer. Once your blood starts going acidic, it signals to certain parts of the body to pull minerals and other nutrients out, put them in the blood, and out of the bone into the blood. After years and years of that, what happens to your bone matrix? It starts to weaken, and you've probably heard of osteoporosis. My belief is that our continuing acidic diet over the decades is one of the chief contributors. So what happens? Drink a lot of alkaline water every day, and you basically are not going to be taxing your body's buffering systems like most of us do on a daily basis. Long-term effects of that, very, very beneficial. We've had people drink the alkaline water and see amazing results, feel a whole lot better just in a short period of time. So that tells you a little bit about the products, tells you about how to get started, gives you an overview of the company. Whether you're interested in just having really quality products at great prices that can help you save some money and help you live a better quality of life, this is something I encourage you to get involved with. If you're the type of person who's an entrepreneur and you want to make some money, now's the time to make it happen. We're at the very, very ground floors here, and this is destined with this revolution to have literally millions of people around the world become eCosway shoppers. You can help make that happen, and you can profit from that for the rest of your life. Thanks very much for joining me on this webinar tonight, and I hope you have a great evening. Good night.